All right, it's time to turn our attention towards familiar territories, and familiar territory in this case, of course, is T20I cricket. Look, just a few years ago, we were looking at ODI cricket and wondering, this is where, this is what we're familiar with. This is our preferred format. We're good at this. But now suddenly the tide has changed, and T20I cricket is our little comfort zone. And within a few years itself. Sandipan Banerjee joins us, of course, on Cricket News Down Under to preview the T20I series and have a bit of focus on the first T20I, of course. Sandipan, were you surprised, first of all, that the T20Is were not requested to be held first before the ODI series, because India, like the rest of the world, were coming in on the back of an IPL and could have been a much smoother transition into the series? Were you a bit surprised? Because I certainly was.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Look at England, South Africa. Look at West Indies, New Zealand. They all placed the T20Is first, right? Because all these players are coming from that format. So for to get into the groups, I thought the T20Is would have been the ideal one. In fact, if you can recall the original schedule of this tour, when it was the T20 World Cup was supposed to happen in Australia, India was supposed to play 3 T20Is before the World T20. Then they went on to play they were supposed to play the Test series. Then the ODI series at the last. So now, actually, I was a bit surprised about the scheduling.
Yeah,
but I guess. I mean, the focus of this entire tour was obviously when they were scheduling the tour. The focus was obviously on the Test matches. The white ball formats are just just the complementaries.
Yeah, for us, for sure, they are the mere formalities.
Just the snacks, just the starters before the main course.
Starters before the main course. But it depends, Sandeepan. If you are coming to eat for the starters and you don't really care about the main course, then it's a different matter altogether. Absolutely. But for us, we are all main course people. For us, the Test series matters. But before that, of course, 3 T20Is. Let's take a quick look at the schedule. Of course, the first game being played again in the capital city in Canberra, and then again, the caravan moves back to Sydney, where 2 T20Is will be played. Bit of a tongue twister. So, of course, let's stick to the venue of the first T20I. Sandeepan, India, of course, found some luck, found some form, found some good fortune, and won the third ODI. Of course, a big boost in their confidence heading into the T20I series. It will be a much lighter, much more confident camp heading into an important 3 games.
Absolutely, absolutely. T20Is are the new normal for the entire world, and so is the Indian team. Because if you see these days, teams are playing like 5-match T20I series, and they're playing 3 ODIs on a tour. So it is slowly it has started to become the new normal, in any tour. So obviously T20s are the familiar territories for all these players. They have played this format they have been playing this format for the last 3-4 months. So I guess yes. And after the kind of performance they have done in the previous last ODI, I think they will go into this series as a confident bunch. And most importantly, their first match will be played in Canberra. The wicket over there is at least not like Sydney, where there is nothing for the bowlers. Here, at least the bowlers have something to offer. So I guess that will bring the Indian bowlers also back in the mix. It's not just it just coming and hitting all those sixes and all. So here, bowling will play an important role as well. So I guess I am expecting a very high, hard-fought T20I series for this Indian team. And remember, I think India have won their last 2 T20I series in Australia. I know they have won in 2016. Then they won 3-0. Then they won the last tour also 2018. So I guess India have won their last 2 T20I series in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke about the bowlers, of course. 2 very inspired changes to Team India in the third ODI. You had Natarajan making his debut, which was heartwarming and wonderful for all of us. But he also brought in a variation to that bowling attack, which we spoke about in your previous preview as well. And of course, Shardul Thakur, who came in with his experience and made a big difference. good changes, Sandipan, and the effect readily showed in the third ODI. You think the same combination could be perhaps taken into the into the T20I series as well?
Absolutely, but my only issue is um, Deepak Chahar is one of India's T20 premier T20 bowlers. With the new ball, he bowls wicket to wicket length, and the wickets at Canberra seems like ideal for that kind of a bowling. Bowling wicket to wicket, and not giving anything to work for any room to work for the batsman. So
Yeah.
Deepak Chahar is good at that kind of a job. So I don't know whether they might even rest Jasprit Bumrah and play Deepak Chahar, but Natarajan and Shardul will obviously play.
Yeah. Let's take a quick look
And
at.
I'm very disappointed that Kuldeep is not there anymore in the T20I series, because Kuldeep I think he has done well in the game yesterday. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we can see a last minute change like we have seen in the ODI series, that they included Natarajan in the ODI team. He was not initially part of the ODI team.
Yeah.
They included him as a backup for Saini. So we might see a press release coming from the BCCI soon that Kuldeep Yadav has been included as in the game.
Quite possible, and it will probably come in at 12 a.m. Indian Standard Time before the game, like it always does with BCCI. But jokes aside, here's the T20I squad in full. Virat Kohli obviously is the captain, leads the team. Shikhar Dhawan, Mayank Agarwal, KL Rahul, who is vice captain and wicketkeeper, Shreyas Iyer, Manish Pandey, Hardik Pandya, Sanju Samson, Ravindra Jadeja, Washington Sundar, Yuzvendra Chahal, Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Shami, Navdeep Saini, Deepak Chahar, and T. Natarajan. So this is what the T20I squad is looking like at the moment. A very young and strong and in-form squad, you'd like to say, Sandipan, because there are a couple of names here that did reasonably well in the IPL as well. You look at Manish Pandey, you look at Washington Sundar, Deepak Chahar was all right as well. So, this is a slightly different looking limited over squad, but a confident and a squad that's been informed lately as well.
Absolutely. All these players have, and they have a tried and tested role in T20Is T20Is, because someone like Washington Sundar, we know that probably he will bowl 2 overs in the power play, or maybe 3 in the power play, and try to tangle the left-handed batsman for room, and bowling wicket to wicket and asking batsmen to hit over the top. And so all these players have they know their role in T20I cricket for the Indian team. So I guess obviously as we are talking about, they will be in their familiar territory.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at Maxwell opening the bowling, or rather bowling right away at the top in Canberra. You might see that in Sundar also, doing the same for India come the T20Is. So yes, indeed, a very
we might even see that maybe they will play Sundar ahead of Chahal.
Or Sundar ahead of Jadeja, because Sundar has shown promise. I know you're a big fan. I know you're a big fan of Jadeja, and it'll be cruel to leave him out for sure.
Yeah. After the performance in the last game, I don't think India will leave him.
Yeah. I mean, we're both Jadeja fans, 100%. But then if you take a look at the squad, then it's a very interesting squad, because you have the option of going for 3 seamers and 2 spinners. If you drop out Jadeja, then you play Sundar and Chahal both in that scenario. However, Sandipan, let's do a quick exercise. What would be your 11 for the first T20I? Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
You can start.
Okay, so here's what I think could be a very interesting 11. So I think I will not opt for Mayank Agarwal to play in the T20Is. Would rather go for KL Rahul and Shikhar Dhawan to open the batting. This is a combination that India have played in the T20Is recently as well. So you go with those to open the batting. Virat Kohli obviously comes in next. You have Shreyas Iyer. Manish Pandey can come in at 5. Has had a good IPL, of course, and he likes playing in that role. Hardik Pandya at 6. Here's the tricky part, right? Here's the tricky part. I would play Jadeja myself, but I've gone in for Washington Sundar because I have a gut feeling that Virat has liked what he has seen from Sundar in the IPL. He knows he can do a job, and he might be trusted over Jadeja. Maybe give Jadeja a bit of a rest ahead of the test as well. So Sundar next, and then you go with Chahal, to follow, and then you go in, a toss up between Shami or Deepak Chahar, and with Bumrah and maybe Natarajan to follow. So I've got three seamers, three out and out seamers, and two proper spin bowling options to strengthen the bowling in these conditions. Maybe slightly batting weak in the middle order, but you never know. You could possibly see Sundar play ahead of Jadeja. So that's my 11. What's yours, Sandipan? What are the changes you'd like to make to that?
Obviously, I will open with KL Rahul. There is no point playing KL Rahul at down the order in T20I cricket. And after the kind of form we have seen in the IPL, I will definitely open with KL and Shikhar. Rest of the batting lineup is same. I will obviously play Manish Pandey over here. Also, I will pick both Jadeja and Washington Sundar, and I will not play Chahal at least in the first T20I.
Okay, and the bowling.
And in that case, and remember, the seam bowlers. I remember that in the ODI series, we have seen Hardik bowling a few overs. So in the T20Is, he might come in and bowl a couple of overs if needed. So I will take him as an option for a backup seamer, and I will play Shardul, Bumrah, and Natarajan.
Shardul, Bumrah, Natarajan. Okay, so no place for Deepak Chahar.
So Jadeja and Washington Sundar will be my two spinners.
Right. Okay. That's an interesting 11 as well, which provides a good
it will give
deep batting lineup.
Depth to the
which is very, very important in this format. And India also like to play with a deep batting order. It's a benefit for any team, to be very honest. You look at the other end of the spectrum. You look at Australia. Then the team is pretty much the same. You've got a very similar looking squad in Australia. I'm just going to pull it up real quick for you, Sandipan. Essentially, Australia have not gone in for a lot of changes. The only foreseeable change rather the unforeseeable change that has happened is, of course, that David Warner will not be a part of the series.
David Warner is not there.
And you'd like to think that Darcy Short is someone who will come in. But apart from that, you'd like to think that it will be more or less the same team and they won't really be bothered to make a lot of changes.
I think so. I don't know whether they will place Sean Abbott or not. But we might see. I don't think Stark will. Can you please confirm whether Stark is there in the squad or not?
I'm just going to be doing that shortly. But I have a feeling
don't think
that
he will
he's
play
not.
More.
Yeah. I think they'll rest him up for the test series.
I also have a.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So here's okay. No, I'm not able to pull it up yet. But regardless, I mean, from what I read, I remember that there are not a lot of changes made to the Australian. It's not looking very different from what the ODI squad has been. Just one or two changes, and now of course Darcy Short coming in. But largely,
Darcy Short obviously he will come in. He will play.
Yeah.
He's a specialist T20 player. He has a good BBL also. So all these BBL they will prioritize the performance on BBL. Who have done well in recently and in their domestic cricket. All these youngsters we will get to see. Australia obviously they're a wonderful T20 side as well and well led by Aaron Finch. Maxwell's form also will be a huge factor for them.
Yeah, very happy about that. I'm sure they are. Yeah. 100%.
He has picked up at the right time. So I guess their scheme of things will be more or less the same. Their game plan will be more or less the same. So
Stark is of course part of the squad, but also you have the likes of Daniel Sams, etc. So I don't really see a lot of difference from the ODI and T20.
I think then they will pick Daniel Sams ahead because of his last BBL performance.
And he's also played a few games in the IPL, so you'd like to have someone with form coming in as well. The venue in contention is obviously Canberra. India, the 3 games that India have played there, they've lost 2. But now they've won 1 game, which was the 3rd ODI. And at Canberra, the Bharat Army showed their presence yet again. They were loud and proud. They saw India winning for the first time on this tour to much of their delight. And we're bringing you a quick look of what went down in Canberra and what India can expect come the first T20I in the same city as well via the Bharat Army. Right, the Bharat Army, of course, loud and proud, as they keep saying all the time, and their presence was felt and will be felt continuously. Sandipan, of course, this the Bharat Army and the fans alike, they of course support India through thick and thin, through losses and wins. But the win obviously helps, doesn't it? It's a different atmosphere when the team you support does well on the park. It adds to your happiness as well as a fan, doesn't
Absolutely, absolutely. These, I last in the last video also I was talking about how dedicated these fans are. Because most of them probably they are traveling with the team, even when there are matches on the weekdays. So most of them they have taken off from their jobs
it?
also.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think they have invested a lot, and they deserve some happiness.
100%, and they'll be expecting a lot more happiness, of course, come the T20Is and the Test series. There's still a whole lot of cricket to be played, over the course of a month and a half, and the Bharat Army will be there, and so will CricketNews.com in obvious partnership with the Bharat Army, trying to bring you some exclusive content from down under. So stay tuned to CricketNews.com and of course the Bharat Army and both our social handles. Right, Sandipan, before we wrap up this preview, your early predictions of course, the first T20I, and of course, where this T20I series will end up eventually. We have a 3-match game. What's it going to look like at the end?
First T20I, India will go into the game as favorites because the wicket over there suits the kind of bowling which India have at this point. And also in the T20I series, as we have already discussed, that all these players are excellent T20 players, and
Yeah,
now there will be depth in the batting order as well. So they can upfront, they can express themselves, they can go after the bowling, which maybe in the ODIs
yeah,
because of the long tail they were a bit reluctant to, but now T20I cricket they can play freely. And some of the bowlers have also shown form in the last, picked up form in the last ODI. So that will come handy for Indian team. Hardik Pandya, wonderful performance, and
mm-hmm,
I will expect him to bowl a few overs in the T20Is as well. So overall, I think going into
mm-hmm.
this, at least in the first game, at least in Canberra, India will be the favorite. But Sydney, the wicket will be different. So here,
Mm-hmm.
their toss will be a huge factor.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
will actually that wicket would obviously suit the chasing team.
Yeah, I mean the toss is becoming a huge factor in this series as well, and that it's interesting how a toss of a coin can decide a team's fortune. But you'd like to think that India will try to give their best account and try to sort of execute their plans in the best possible way. Come on the day, and this team, like we discussed, is a young team. It's a team that's in form, and it will be keen to sort of build that momentum that they have heading into an important year. Remember, you have a T20 World Cup in 2021. So every T20I you play is very important for any team. In fact, on in the larger scheme of things. Sandipan Banerjee, thank you so much for joining us. This has been another preview on CricketNews.com of India's tour to Australia. We will be there for the rest of the games, of course, trying to bring you the best from down under and of course from our studios this season.